What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am joined by Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
Just like that, you just go roll in just like that.
Just
You
like
just
that.
go
Just roll
just
into
like
it.
that. Just like that. There
Just
it
like
is.
that. Just like that.
I am awesome, sir. Thank you for asking. But more importantly, since the last episode, how are you? I want to go ahead and get this out the way immediately.
I am doing fantastic. In the words of War
What?
Machine, boom. You looking for this?
I don't know what that's
That's
supposed to
exactly the
mean.
reaction that he got.
That is
Avengers Age of
wildly
Ultron.
inappropriate.
Avengers Age of Ultron.
No. I know exactly what you're talking about. I just feel like it's how appropriate because we're here talking about the boys, and I feel like that's a love sausage reference. Boom! Looking for this. That's how I want to walk into every conversation. Why not?
At that point, it's not even a choice. It's like it's just there.
Boom, looking for this. What he did to Matthew? What he did to Mother's Milk?
wait, before we even get into it, before we get into it, because we're going to be talking about season 3 of The Boys, but we get through the introduction. If you didn't know, this is All Things Super, where every week we take a piece of superpower TV, film, even trailers, we review it, recap it, we break it down, and we ask the question, is it super? Well, like I said, we're talking about season 3 of The Boys. We're going to find out because we got a lot to unpack with this season. But if you like that, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell so you can be notified when a new episode comes up. If you like the audio version, you can find us on most podcast streaming platforms. And you can join in the conversation by tweeting at us at ATSuperPod. Oh, all right.
Right.
We're going to jump into this. Memorized. We are done with season 3 of The Boys. If you saw us, we went through the first 2 episodes? The first 3 episodes. First 3 episodes. Oh. We did a review of the first 3 episodes. We got 5 more after that because we had 8 episodes, right?
Yes, to what you're saying.
Yeah. So we have 5 more episodes after that. So if you want to see our initial reaction on the first 3 episodes, go watch that episode. Come back and watch this one so we can talk about the season 3 of The Boys as a whole. But
I can tell you this: there's not enough episodes.
There's never enough.
They need more episodes. They need to let these guys. This is one of the shows. This is what Game of Thrones was to Avis to Amazon, and it shows they are back. The Boys season 3 has not missed a beat. They understand who they are, and they make no apologies about who they are.
Absolutely,
and I am here for all of it. Oh my God, it is everything that you loved about season 1 and season 2 that's inside of season 3. My hats off to you. Kudos to you. You are the flagship show of Amazon Prime Video. My God, this is some good storytelling.
Yes. I
know, right? Where do you want to begin? At the beginning of season 3? You want to go ahead and get 1 and 2 in there? Because overall, they took so anybody.
Well, I mean, we already recapped 1 and 2.
Do I have to do it? Do I have to do them? Here we go.
Do it.
Put your earbuds on. Here it comes. You know it's coming.
Oh, that was weak. You gotta get it out there.
Black ball to my daddy.
What mouth?
So let that echo in your ears. Just that soft. Anyway, so they are back. The Boys, Amazon Prime Video season 3. Listen, man, these guys, are killing it with consistency. It's
Mhm.
almost like Curry at the 3-point line. It's like
Okay.
Clay at the 3-point line. It's like Reggie at the 3-point. It's like Jordan at the 3-point line. And there's a lot of other names that I could use, but you guys get where I'm going with it because LeBron got a nasty 3-point game too. Kobe got a nasty 3-point game. Rest in peace, Kobe.
It's not
These
like
guys,
Shaq at the free throw line. It's not like that.
well, if you want to consistently say how he didn't make it, then it's like that.
Well, okay. You know what? You are absolutely right. You're talking about consistency.
But as you're going to say consistency with Jordan, this is like he's missed more shots than he's taken. I mean, not he's taken, but he's hit.
He's made, yeah.
But we remember for the ones that he hit, those buzzer beaters, those threes, those amazing layups, those from the free throw line dunks.
Right.
And motivating others. And I wish the boys would do this. Motivate others to create their art in not the same vein, but a similar vein. Because again, these guys are great at storytelling. And we always say this on the show. If you can narrate your story, then you're looking at a masterpiece at work. And you're looking at The Boys season 3 is exactly that. I'm giving them their flowers. You guys always think that we're over here bashing shows by saying what they are and what they aren't, and what's super and what's not. This show is super. It's just so happens to be about superheroes and the world that they live in. They do a great job at world building, and what makes you buy into the idea that superheroes exist, and why wouldn't they be on product? Why wouldn't they be on merchandising? Why wouldn't they be on the cereal boxes? They're your kids' icons.
Right.
This is what the MCU is trying to get to a point now. As you can see how they're bringing in their Dr. Selvey has a book, and Jane has a book, and Iron Man had a movie or a book or something like that. And the boys are there already in strides. The 7 has a movie. You see A-Train Rush Soda. Maeve has
A-Train Menthols.
Some of it is comical, but you see all these things. They even got adult toys, which they had an episode on in season 3. Listen, I don't know if this is a non-spoiler deep dive until I hit the echo again or the
losing steam.
Black Bull's my cousin. We're from the South.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
I'm joking. Listen, what I'm saying is these guys know what they're doing. And it's a great story. You got so many characters, but clearly Homelander is killing it this season.
Man.
This character is so unhinged and just, I did do the warning. To come from where we started from, beginning of season 3 to where we ended at season 3 with essence sprinkled in of a little season 2, broad daylight, we have done a murder on the show. And we are cheering behind it. That's not a scary thought
horrifying.
There.
Absolutely horrifying.
That's not a scary thought that this guy could just laser somebody in the face because, now, don't get me wrong, he should have never threw that soda and hit Ryan. He should have never even threw it at Homelander because you can get your face lasered off. Which I said that when we did our initial breakdown, right? I'm like, this is not the guy you want to piss off. And you can clearly see that with the 3. No, not 7. Watch the season. You know what I'm talking about. With the 3 that's remaining of the 7, which is not even 3, is more like 2. Watch the season.
2 and a maybe. 2 and a possible.
exactly like spades. We're walking on eggshells to try to make sure that we don't piss this guy off. He is a walking, ticking time bomb.
Absolutely.
And we were relying on Soldier Boy to be the answer. And I don't want to ruin it anymore.
I mean, we gave the horn. You gotta say what you gotta say. We let the people know.
Listen,
we full spoilers.
To let Soldier Boy be the answer to that and did not have him, it took a twist that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, Soldier Boy Homelander get together. Oh shit! What are the boys are gonna do? There's no, and then they had little baby Ryan. Well, not a baby, but Ryan was there. So I'm thinking to myself, you can take all the tip you want, but it's going to be your last rodeo anyway. Do you have enough in the tank to stop such a menacing combination?
Right. This
is more menacing to me than the Sinister Six. I said it. Homelander Soldier Boy with this unibeam that comes out of his rib cage, and Ryan, who annihilated his mother on accident, doesn't even know how to really work his powers against what? A Cyclops maid, a Star Spangly Light girl, and Butcher, who has similar Homelander powers, but maybe now we haven't really tested those waters.
We just know he has super strength, he has laser eyes, and he's invulnerable. So we know he has those three.
But as you notice, they slowly started to reveal Homelander's other powers. Like, he's saying, I can hear your fingers on the screen. When Maeve came, he's like, I can smell Butcher on you. They were slowly showing how, and even when he talked to Starlight after he just ripped the face off of her young crush,
right?
Which was
Supersonic.
What's his name? Supersonic, which we really never saw his powers either.
We really didn't. But I have no idea what his powers were.
But he even jokingly says, "Don't do that. We know how that ends." Like, come on, man. Just to go this unstoppable, and then you would have had that combination, and then they twisted it. Good storytelling. That's all I'm saying. Because when Soldier Boy said, "You're a disappointment," I was like, wow. Hurt people.
That's what they do.
And it was clearly, the trauma of his father that echoed down into the lack of father that Homelander has. Plus, he wants to be a father to Ryan, which, come on. If nothing else, he's been consistent about that. He's wanted his son.
Right.
He's not really cared for, which is a twist, because when Stillwater had her son, Teddy, he really didn't care about Teddy.
Right.
But he could have been looked at as like a son. But nah, when he found out he had his own son.
Genetics is what's important to him. Like, this is my family. This is my blood, my genes.
They just don't like the word Nazi, okay? Because a lot of stuff that he's done in this season was pretty storm fronty.
Yeah.
He tolerates A-Train, but he was about this second away from lasering A-Train's face off. Just because he whistles, fuck you, man. There's so much to unpack about season 3, Spider. I don't want to take all the credit. Tell the people, what was your favorite parts?
Oh, it's the thing that I love about any type of media is when you have when you have an antagonist, when you have a villain in the show, and you, from episode to episode, you see that we only have one episode left. I don't know how this is going to end, because it's like, obviously we're outmatched, we're outgunned, I don't know if the heroes of the show, and with their faults and all, they're technically the heroes of the show. I don't know how they can win because, like you said, Homelander is a villain or an antagonist because there are some people who don't see him as a villain. There are people that watch this show and be like, Homelander is an icon. I want to follow behind Homelander. I want to be Homelander. There are people out there that are like that. And just as it's so good because
We call them the
the
radicals. Far
way
left.
that they portray certain points, certain viewpoints, certain opinions, certain political aspects in the show. They portray it in the show, and the way they portray it in the show is exactly what happens in real life, like beat for beat, bar for bar. The episode where they went to the Vault Land and they had Brave Maeve's Inclusivity Land or whatever they called it, and like the people that watch the show don't understand the satirical aspect that they're portraying this. So it's like because this company wants to appear to be inclusive because they have a superhero on their team that's a lesbian. They're like, we love all the gay people. We're not homophobic. We trans rights, all this other kind of stuff. And so they force all of these inclusivity things. Let's put an inclusive land in Vault Land. Let's have rainbow
Hey, what
foods
does that
and all this
sound
other
like?
kind of stuff. And it's like exactly it mirrors real life things because if you don't want to be vilified, if you don't want to be canceled, you have to show that you're inclusive. And the thing about it is the people who watch the show, it's like they don't get it. There's so many like tweets and things that I saw on social media. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna watch The Boys anymore because they become too woke. They threw in like all of this LGBTQ stuff. It's like I don't understand it. It's like, but you're not understanding like the nuance of why they're doing it. It's like it's just I don't see how people like glossed over that. Like, how do you miss that? If you've watched The Boys for any period of time, how do you not understand like the message that behind what they're doing? Like the whole thing, like just like the whole thing with A Train and what's the dude that he was beefing with? I can't remember his name.
Turbosonic, Supersonic.
No, it wasn't Supersonic, but Nighthawk.
Nighthawk. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and so like the whole thing with Nighthawk, when Nighthawk was racially profiling people in A Train's neighborhood, and A Train was like, well, A Train's brother was like, you are in power. You are a part of the Seven. You can stand up for us. You can be our voice because we don't have a voice for ourselves. And A Train is like, bro, I mean, I can tweet something, I can kind of say something, but I'm not trying to like mess up my image because like you said, he was already a foot out the door because he got a bad heart. He can't run, and Homelander is down on top of it. He's like, you're lucky that I'm letting you stay here because right now you're not contributing anything. You're getting fat. It's like, and so A-Train is trying to hold on to what little celebrity status that he has.
It's so hard. Just so horrible because the dude is like,
He's really not. Right?
He's really not bad at all. I will kill him in your shape.
He's like, I saw you at the buffet table. He's like, but yeah, man, I need like 20,000 calories in order to keep my shape. He was like, yeah, when you were running, but you're not running now anymore, are you? It was like, bro. But all of this is to say is that Homelander is so terrifying, and Anthony Starr is playing this role phenomenally. Like we've talked about like perfect casting before. It's like this dude, it's like he understands Homelander. And I'm not saying that him in real life, like he has any of these characteristic traits. Don't know the man personally. Never seen. I don't think I've watched him in any interviews or anything like that. But it's like he just his facial expressions, his mannerisms, just. When I'm telling you, in the very last episode, in the last episode, I was watching the last episode of the season, and we're going through this whole this whole arc for Homelander, because it's like he was looking for Ryan, he found Ryan, and he's going through this whole thing with Black Noir, because he finds out, and again, we already went into spoilers, so he found out that Soldier Boy, that's the quietest that it's ever been. But he found out that Soldier Boy is his father, and he's like, finally, and Soldier Boy even told him on the phone, he was like, all he had to do was tell me, because what father wouldn't want to pass the reins over to his son? And so Homelander was like, I went through Vaught's records, I saw that they used his DNA to make me. And he went to the Black Noir, and he was like, did you know?
Did you know?
And Black Noir, like, he's like, yeah. And like the expression, the look, Homelander was crying. Homelander was crying because he was so hurt.
Captain America, Iron Man, right?
It is right, exactly. He was like, that's my father. Like my entire life, Vought has just treated me like a science experiment, just no humanity. And that's why his social skills are so jacked up, because he was not raised to be in a family, and that's the only thing that he's ever looked for. He's wanted somebody to love him, and he's like, that's all I wanted. And I'm like, when I'm watching this and I see Homelander brought to tears, I'm like, fuck you. I'm to the show, I'm like, fuck you, because you are not going to make me feel sorry for Homelander. They're like, no, you're not going to. You cannot make me feel sorry for Homelander. But a part of you does, because of a person is like, if a person just, all they want is their family. All they want is just somebody to be able to say, I care about you, I love you, and just hold you close. And you took that away from me because you didn't want to tell me, and then immediately just right into Black Noir's guts and just ripped them all out. It's like, you should have told me. You should have told me. And oh man, and it's like that scene, and then the scene at the very end of the show, when Soldier Boy does that turn. Like, we've already gotten, like, Soldier Boy reveals, like, what his dad told him. He was like, yeah, my father told me. He's like, my father never raised a hand to me. He never beat on me. But he made sure that I knew how disappointed in me he was. He made sure that I knew how much of a failure that he thought I was. Like, verbal abuse is just as bad as physical abuse. It fucks a kid up mentally. And for him to, like, he signed up for Vaught's, like, super soldier program or whatever. He got injected with the V, became a superhero, thinking that his dad would be proud of him because he's out saving people. He's doing the right thing. And you say, you know what my dad told me? That I took a shortcut. I took a shortcut.
A real man would never do that.
And then and then for him, like, they introduced that, and then so you think that Soldier Boy is like, I wanted a son, I wanted kids, I wanted a family, and I wanted to not be that person that my father was. And for him to come back in and confront Homelander, and Homelander again carefully, like, it can be us, a family. This is your grandson. And then Ryan comes in, hey, Grandpa. It's like, bruh. And then for Soldier Boy to just be like, why would I want to be a family with you? You're nothing but a disappointment. You're a pussy. You who's starved for attention. And it's like,
hurt people.
And it's like, again, I was like, fuck you, show. I'm not going to feel bad for Homelander. But it's like, it hits you. It hit God. It's written so well. It is written so well.
How about this one? Since you brought up Black Noir, Black Noir's backstory.
Man,
they did it in an animation and gave you more Black Noir than you realized that you even want. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Diabolical, the animated series, was great as well, and you saw how Homelander and Black Noir kind of became friends. But to see Black Noir's story and why
as told by animated creatures.
Yes, because his brain got popped out his skull
And then
in a most graphic, animated way. But
it gave us so much more insight into that scene that we saw from Mallory's retelling. From what she saw, she came to. She got knocked out. She came to. She just saw that the Russians were taking Soldier Boy away, and then the rest of what was the team name?
Payback.
The rest of Payback, they were all decimated. You see Black Noir, like half his brain is gone. You see, we saw the dude that was flying. I forget his name. He got shot out of the sky. He's the one that brought the attention on him in the first place. But you see everybody else was hurt.
He told his ass not to fly again. He ain't want to listen. I don't know when you go fly. You're not bulletproof. Yeah. Falcon is not bulletproof. He don't go flying around when he is okay.
But yeah, so we got to see that explanation. Like, it wasn't the insurgents of the cartel or whoever they were fighting came in and wrecked their shot. That was Soldier Boy, because they were trying to take him down and he was fighting back. And it's like this to get that retelling from a person who up until we saw that scene when it was the flashback to the past, that was the only time we heard Black Noir's character speak. For this person who's been mute for 3 seasons, and we get like this retelling of what happened, is like he's facing his trauma and everything that he's dealt with in the past, and
only to be killed by Homelander.
Right. But then the thing about it is, like, it's so, oh my god, it's so great, because the little animated characters, they told him, it was like, we know that you're scared, but courage or something along the lines of bravery is not doing something without fear. It's doing something while you're scared. That is what makes you brave. That is what makes you courageous. And for the fact that he went to Homelander, he told him, he was honest about it. Black Noir wasn't trying to hide. He wasn't trying to be shady. He wasn't trying to be shifty. Homelander asked, "Did you know?" And Black Noir was like, "Yes, I knew." And he died. And then the little character was like, "We're proud of you because you did the right thing. You were brave. And even though you knew that something like this could happen." And it's like, bruh.
No, that just goes to show you how deadly Homelander is. Like, you had all this buildup, and at the same time, you ready for it to pay off, and you know that in the animated series, it could have paid off, and maybe in live action, it could have paid off too, because they have had very good fight scenes in this season.
Oh, yeah.
The fight scenes between Soldier Boy and Homelander and Butcher was top notch.
Yes.
The fight scene between Maeve and Homelander was good.
That was such a good fight scene.
And from coming from season 1, when the fight scene was kind of like, these are way better.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about the fight scene between Stormfront and the Girls Get It Done scene.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm referring to. It wasn't a lot of choreography.
No, it wasn't. And I mean, it's like even this season, like everything with Kimiko, when she had to go and like kill the pimp dude in Russia. Yeah, it had to kill the Russian. That fight scene, the fight scene that they had when they were in the laboratory where Soldier Boy was. The fight scene when almost not necessarily a fight scene, but when Frenchie gets abducted and Kimiko gets abducted, and they're all in that like
a lot of kidnapping this season.
Yeah, a lot of kidnapping this season. But like Kimiko fighting for her life because she know that she doesn't have powers anymore. The amount of times the dude was like punching her in her ribs. Like, how do you not just like black out from the pain at that point? But the fact that she kept fighting. And it's just like, oh, they stepped the fight choreography up to another level this season. They really did.
Yes, sir. What do we think about Victoria Newman going to the presidency?
Well, she is. I mean, she's damn near. She's going to end up becoming president at some point, because.
Can she pop Homelander's head? I know we talked about this before in the 3-episode breakdown, but he literally grabbed her by the neck in the barn. And even though she had a encounter with Starlight, she gave her a little nosebleed to say, I could
Try
pop your head
fuck
really
around and
hard
find out.
that I
Try me
want.
if you want. Right.
But she didn't do that to Homelander.
Because I don't think it would have served her purpose, like what she's trying to achieve. Like you said, they had that confrontation. He was like, "Well, you thinking about popping my head? Try it. See if you can." Like, she knows that she needs him, so that's why she's. I think that. I mean, it's possible for her to do it, but I don't think that she would have to, like when she was in the Senate hearing back in season 2. Like, she would have to be, well, not even the Senate hearing, like when they went to the woman in the CIA and they were trying to get that information, and then her head just popped out of nowhere. She would have to be like somewhere far away where she can just like barely see Homelander, and Homelander has to not know where she is. That's the only way that she would be able to get to him.
But
like, if
again,
Homelander is aware of where she is, she doesn't have a chance.
Again, we're going on the simple fact that we have a Superman algorithm that we're basing Homelander off. And if we're going to do the comparison, Superman knows exactly what his mother's heartbeat is, Lois Lane's heartbeat is, and even the world's best detective, Batman's heartbeat is.
Right.
So he's listening to this. If he has locked her heartbeat in,
yeah, then he knows where she is. Area
that she can go and get because he has supersonic freaking hearing.
Right.
Dude, this dude is frightening.
Yes.
Like, frightening. And I'm glad that we're exploring the options right now of Compound V. We could start it out with 24 if we want, but I cannot see us continuing to go down this show if we don't get some powers. Because as you see, season 3 has built up the fight between Butcher and Homelander, and even though it was pretty hyped up,
scorched earth,
when Homelander came to Butcher and seen that he had released Soldier Boy, he said deal was off, and he lasered the snot out of him, not knowing that he even had powers.
Right.
So, dude, imagine if you didn't. Hell, when you got into it with Gunpowder, you would have been dead because Gunpowder lost his mind and just started shooting you just because he was annoyed with you.
Right.
That's not a real hero thing to do. But again, that's why we love this show.
Right.
Because all these gray areas with these heroes and these moral conflicts that they're experiencing, like Huey, not wanting to be soft, not wanting to be weak. And then coming at the end of the season realizing that there's different levels of strength.
Right.
And coming to the terms of how his father was not strong like a suit, but at the same time was there for him in the ways that it mattered for him. Wow.
You can be a hero. You can save people without superpowers.
Right. But again, Homelander's lazy and people face off. So
so it might help if you have some superpowers.
Don't get me wrong, he teleports now and he loses his clothes, his junk is out. I don't need to see the love sausage.
Man. Huey's ass was out a lot after he started taking that Compound V.
Is that what we're doing now, Amazon? We're double cheeked out? I mean, this show definitely tethers the line.
Listen, we started out the season with a dude running into another dude's penis and then exploding him from the inside. So I think that there is no line for the boys. None. Absolutely none.
It's like the guys from South Park just got a live action show.
And without any type of network cable TV restrictions.
They don't need any. Because underneath all the gore, the blood, explosions, head pops, and the eye lasering and the murders, there's story there.
There's a great story.
Great story. And it's leading up, in my opinion, to a president that is Homelander. We're getting a whole lot of Donald Trump kind of comparisons between Homelander and Donald Trump himself. And Donald Trump became the president. It is a great narrative, and they're good at, like you said earlier, tying in the world events and the actual things into the storyline. They're trading on the comics, and then they're off the comics. It's the MCU without the BS. It's the MCU and Warner Brothers without the BS. It's a whole different universe outside of the ones that we know, and they're getting it right. All of it. It's the best of both worlds. Amazon The Boys is the idea of what if you had Superman, but Superman was an absolute asshole. Not by his own fault.
Right.
It's because he's a product of what corporate greed and government kind of involvement has done. And it makes sense. He didn't have a parents when he was growing up. He had handlers and contingency plans in case he was to ever go awry. I mean, they knew exactly what they were doing. They took Soldier Boy's DNA and then they refined it and made Homelander. Soldier Boy can't fly. Homelander can. Soldier Boy now can shoot a beam out of his chest, but that's based off what the Russians did.
Right.
Homelander got eye lasers that he could do. Super strong, super durability. Like he was telling Black Noir, you could sharpen that blade 1,000 times over, it still won't be enough to pierce Soldier Boy's skin.
Right.
And I'm sure it won't pierce Homelander's skin as well. So what are we going to do now? Because Edgar is gone. Homelander's left unchecked. Ashley is pulling her hair out till she's bald. The Deep is out here fucking sea life.
I hate that dude. I hate that dude. And it's like I
told you guys,
I understand it.
No fish. I said
understand
it. Well,
it. You said
it's
it.
A malice. It's a malice.
It's like I get it. There's got to be one person. There's got to be one person, and I understand why it's him. But and I know that he's written this way for this exact reaction. But I hate that dude. It is like he's such an idiot, and he's such a kiss ass, and he's playing his role perfectly. And I understand.
Why did they say he has a horrible intelligence? Okay, why did they say he
formidable?
Has a formidable intelligence? The Boys, Amazon Prime.
Oh my God!
Flagship show. If you don't have Amazon Prime, I don't know where you're shopping at. Probably Overstock.com, but you need to get you an Amazon account because you need Prime. And you need to watch The Boys. It is everything that you want your DC universe to be, and it pulls from actual MCU tropes and give them a better
from superhero tropes in general. Just like
I think that's a better answer.
And I know that because like for most of the characters, for most of the superheroes, they are all a parody of some type of Marvel or DC hero.
When are we going to get a Green Lantern one? That's what I want to see. Somebody that draws their power from the ring and then show how they can't show up the battle. I guess that's kind of Starlight because she needs electricity.
Light. Yeah. She needs light for strength. And like the more light she has, the stronger she is, apparently. And now she can fly, apparently.
Well, Starlight really hasn't done shit out in the superhero aspect.
Yeah.
She shoots light beams. Is that what? Because they keep showing how she's not leveled up to the point of her maximum. And they're showing that she's increasing her levels as the show goes on. Now, will she be a formidable foe later on? Yet to be seen. She's leveling up, but I haven't really seen her powers do anything so kind of blind you. So if you're Homelander and you put some shades on, does that mean that you can see past her light? I'm just saying.
I don't know.
But I clearly see that they're building her up.
Yeah.
And now the women get it done because now Starlight's there, Maeve is gone. But
Yeah.
what's her name?
Kimiko?
Kimiko is there. And outside of the actual boys, no pun intended, they're the ones that actually have superpowers.
Yeah.
Because if Butcher takes the Compound 24 again, that could be his last ride.
He's already terminally ill, and they say he has months left, less than a year.
If nothing else, we're gonna have to get him some permanent V, which we know works because Victoria Newman gave it to her daughter, and we haven't seen her superpowers. Hey, what happened to Cindy from season 2?
Cindy.
The head popper. The other head popper that left the
that was in the little asylum place.
Yeah, you think they're gonna pay that off?
Because Love Sausage was in there, and he's out. He was over at Hero Gasm.
Oh, gross. I never want to go to Hero Gasm.
No, Hero Gasm. They said that Hero Gasm was not rated for anyone, and they are 100%. That's true. That episode was not for anyone. That was past rated M for mature. That was a lot in that episode.
I appreciate all of it. I just don't want to go there. As a narrative in the show, and I have not picked up not one boys comic book, and I can honestly say that. Mm-hmm. But I think they do a great job of incorporating exactly what they need to from the comics to the show.
Yeah.
Because once, we do our research and our deep dives to get, more information to give you guys a better narration of all things super, so we can give you good content. They're doing a great job of the adaptations from the comic books and spinning it off to create their own story narrative, much like somebody else done. Them two who shall be remain nameless. I said that wrong, but if you rewind it and play it again, you'll realize I said it wrong twice. So what I'm saying is, The Boys, Amazon Prime Video, Spider. Favorite parts of the season?
It's all the stuff with Homelander, of course, is just, it's so terrifying. It makes for such a great show because you never know. You never know what's going to happen next with them. It's so unpredictable, and it leaves you with that fear because no matter how many times, and I think this is the most vulnerable that we've seen Homelander so far throughout the entire series.
Yeah, you saw him with a bruise on his face.
Right, and still, even with all of that, Maeve stabbed him in the ear, and it staggered him, but it did not stop him. So at that point,
her in the eye.
He poked her eye out. He gave it a Thor treatment. What are you the god of again?
Hear no evil, see no evil.
And it's like, if that's not going to stop him, because I really thought that was going to at least like slow him down or something. But if he gets stabbed in the ear and it's like penetrates your brain, if that doesn't stop him, what is it going to take him down? And now at the end of the season, we see it'll have to be a head pop, but we see that Ryan has aligned himself with them because, of course, Butcher was an asshole and can't let anybody get close to him, so he pushed Ryan away, which was our only potential salvation of somebody going up against Homelander. Well, before we, really got Soldier Boy, but now you have Ryan align himself with Homelander, and I think Homelander knows that he can use Ryan against Butcher. And that might give Butcher some pause anytime he tries to come after Homelander again. Because if Ryan has attached himself to Homelander, something happens to Homelander, then Ryan's going to come after them. And are you really going to be able to take Ryan out? Soldier Boy didn't have a problem doing it because Soldier Boy was like, fuck them kids. I don't give a shit about your kids.
Give a shit about them kids.
And
but
then
at the same time, you want to Tony Montana in a situation, you got to stand for something, not hurt the kids, right? But at the same time, what other opportunity are you going to have to take Homelander out. Clearly,
Right.
he's just you pull on the thread of this is your weakest link, your connection to this kid. But you miss that shot.
Right.
The world, the scorched earth, like you said, it'll be scorched earth. Even if you kill him and you don't kill Homelander, scorched earth. You kill Homelander, you don't kill him, scorched earth. And your odds are now that much more against you because Ryan hasn't even gotten to the center of his powers. And if we're talking about Superman as being the poster boy of what Homelander is, and there's some debate online if Superman went against Homelander, who would win. I'll leave that to the comment sections. But he's got to be as fast as Flash, so he's probably fast as A-Train.
Or faster.
If not faster.
Right.
So that means is Ryan Moore the Superboy, not as fast, or is he as fast as Brightburn? Because he is fast as Homelander is. But we don't know yet.
My guess would be that if they're going with the whole, pure genetics versus mixed with human DNA, because Ryan is technically half soup, half human, then if they will follow that logic, then he would not be as strong as Homelander, because of course some of his human DNA.
Which makes it worse while he kidnapped May. Oh, we're getting into the juiciness of this. So we gave y'all the words earlier. Because if he was to have a baby with Maeve, that'll be all soup. That'll be... We just broke the universe.
And again, how terrifying Homelander is. No shame in what he's saying. He's like, you're alive because I'm allowing you to live. Is like, because it's like, I don't care if you die because I'm gonna I'm not gonna have sex with you. I'm gonna harvest your eggs. I'm gonna freeze them. And it's no regards for anybody else's well-being. Anybody who stepped up against him, he doesn't care. You will die. You will serve whatever purpose I need you to serve. And it's even more terrifying because again, he's aligned himself with Newman, and Newman had him kill the potential vice president candidate, right? The running mate for Singer, so that way Newman can step in. And at some point, you gotta imagine that Newman is going to end up either killing Singer or having Singer killed. And either she's going to step up as president, or, like you say, Homelander is going to end up becoming president. Because the way it's showing now, as we watch the end of the season, when Homelander just straight up lasered the dude's face off, and the number of people who are just like, and just like they're all for it. Homelander, and they've been working their way towards this the entire season, because it started out with his birthday celebration, and unapologetically he was like, I am better than you. And we saw after that how his approval rating shot up, how he was at Singer's rally and he was talking about how the media doesn't report on their things properly, and how he was talking about how Starlight is running this homeless shelter and she's a part of human trafficking. Again, following shades of what actually goes on in the current political climate in the real world, and how Newman called him out. She's like, you're a Homelander. Button your shit up. It's like, you're supposed to be endorsing this presidential candidate, but you spent the last 45 minutes talking about Starlight. And it's like, again, that's what politicians do. They don't talk about the actual the problems. They just shit on their opponents. But going through all of that, the more he's been getting more and more support. And the less that he's holding back, the more support that he's getting. Now he's just literally murdered someone in front of the public, and they love him for it. So what's to stop him from doing that again? What's to stop him from overthrowing the entire government? What's to stop him from just taking the presidency? If Singer does anything that Homelander doesn't like, Homelander will just take him out. Because he said it himself. When Starlight was threatening to release that video of him in the plane, said, release it. I don't care. But all you're doing, I'll take out the internet. I'll take out the power structure. I'll take out the power grid. I will decimate the entire cabinet, and I will take control over everything because I would rather be loved, but I am perfectly fine with being feared. And it will not take much for him to just snap and say, you know what? You're doing something that I don't agree with. You try to pass a law that I don't like. You try to pass any kind of action or restrictions on me and I don't like it, then I don't care. I'm taking you out and I'm taking your place. And that is, again, terrifying because he has the power to do it and there's no one that can stop him. We went into the season thinking that Soldier, well, we kind of, going into the season, we didn't really know what role that Soldier Boy was going to play. But as we get through the season and we think, okay, well, he's going to kill all the payback and he's going to go for Homelander, and either they're going to come to blows or Soldier Boy is going to end up joining Homelander. And then we get to the end of the season, and it's Butcher the one that ends up joining Homelander. And Butcher is fighting side by side with Homelander to take out Soldier Boy, which is a twist that I wouldn't have not seen show up in a million years until Ryan showed up in the room. Once Ryan showed up in the room, I was like, Butcher's not gonna kill Homelander. Butcher's not gonna be able to kill Homelander now. And it's so good. The writing's so good. It's
like the Breaking Bad of Amazon Prime Video.
Right. And it's just, I'm excited because I know season 4 is coming. I don't know exactly when it's coming.
Not fast enough.
It's not going to be fast enough. But even with, and it's like we were talking about how there are so many different plot lines. There's so many different stories to follow, but each one is just as important. Right. Annie and Huey. Frenchie and Kimiko, we have Mother's Milk and his storyline with his family, and Butcher and Maeve and Newman and Homelander and Soldier Boy, and it's like you're going through and fucking the D and A Train, and everybody has their own story that they're following, but Ashley as well, and it's crazy to have all of these different characters and they're all going through their own type of development. And for better or for worse, when they come out on the other end of it, they're all in a different place than where they were when the season first started. And it's like Ashley is now the CEO of Vought and she's found her voice. She can stand up to everybody else. And it was so fucked up. They're evacuating the building and Ashley, the other Ashley is trying to follow. She's like, well, where are you going? It's like, to the helicopter. She was like, oh, I'm sorry, the helicopter is only for upper level VP, so bye. And it's like just fucking left her in the building. And then at the end,
some Lex Luthor shit.
It really is, and that's some stuff that Stan Edgar would do. It's like, I am CEO, I am the one in power, I don't care about you. But then at the end, we see that she still has some compassion because there was a security camera footage that showed that Maeve was still alive and that the boys came and they got her, and she deleted it because she knew that, because they never really, I know that Maeve ended up coming back and fighting Homelander, but I don't think that Homelander knows or may not fully know how Maeve escaped. And the reason that Maeve escaped is because they were trying to move her because of all those Starlight stuff, and they were about to have like the FBI was about to come and investigate Vought and search the building, so they had to move her. So I don't know if Homelander knows that Maeve got out because Ashley ended up losing her. And so I think that not only did she delete the video to save herself, but then also she still kind of felt bad for Maeve, and so she saved Maeve as well. But it shows that Ashley, again, as shitty of a person as they've become because of all the abuse, because like you said, hurt people, all the abuse that she's endured through the first 2 seasons, like Ashley was being humiliated, insulted. She even got fired like once or twice. And, like all of the things that she's been through to where she's positioned that she's in now, the way that she fucking just flat out called out A-Train was like, you know, you talk about that you care so much now that because it's a family member that Nighthawk hurt, but what about the girl that you killed? What about Popclaw that you killed? What about all the other times that I've had to cover up your drug use? You were at this you know, this gay orgy and all this other kind of stuff. All of the stuff that you've been a part of that I've had to cover up for you.
Old shit.
And it's like he really couldn't say nothing at that point. Exactly. And so it's like, even though this Ashley has then transformed herself into this person who is morally questionable,
she's a boss ass bitch.
but she still has some level of humanity to her. And I feel like that's what every single character has, those levels. It's like even Butcher, he said himself, I'm an asshole. I am 100% an asshole. But we see, with his flashbacks to seeing his brother, how he regrets that, how he still saved Huey, even though he did it in his own asshole-ish way, knocked him out from taking, so it could prevent him from taking any more of the Compound V, or the V-24, and he did it in his own butcher way. But even Huey realized, he was like, after Annie, you know, or Starlight told him, like, that would have killed you. If you would have took it again, you would have died. And Huey was like, he's Butcher. Yes, he's absolutely horrible as a person, but he saved my life, and we should help him. You know, we should, like, we can't turn our back on him, because even though he was fucked up for the way that he did things, he did them for us. You know, like, he's trying to take Homelander out. He wants to, you know, he knows that Soldier Boy is a threat, and it's not that he wants to work with Soldier Boy, but he knows that Soldier Boy is his best bet to take out Homelander. And it's just like, everybody's so flawed, everybody's so complex, there are so many levels to each and every single person. It's like the conversation that Mother's Milk and Frenchie had, and it's like they show that, you know, all the trauma that they've been through, and how Mother's Milk was like, you know, he punched Todd in the face, right? And he was like, now every time my daughter sees me, she's going to see this rageful person. You know, she's going to see that her dad punched her stepdad. And Frenchie was like, you know, but you are holding on.
Todd was actually getting punched in the face.
Todd was actually getting punched in the face.
It was almost like he Chris Rock stuck his face out there. You know, like, you go through Mother's Milk. Your name is Mother's Milk.
And it's really like just that whole scene. It was like, you're not her father. And he was like, well, somebody had to be. And it's like, bro, he was like, that's really that statement himself. That was him sticking his chin out, saying somebody had to be a daddy. Right here. This is what I'm asking for right here. And
what you gonna do with your bitch ass? Wow, this nigga. He real in the streets.
But it's like, everybody has all of these levels. They have all their internal struggles that they're dealing with. And I don't know how they did it, but the writers, the directors, the showrunners, they made sure that no character got left behind. Right? Even, I feel like the Deep probably had like the least amount of screen time, but even when the Deep killed the vice president and he like reemerged, like came out of the water, you could still see that he was like, shit. He was like, you know, like he was regretful, he was remorseful for having to do it, but if he didn't, Homelander's gonna kill him. Like, what other choice does he have?
100%. 100%. You had no choice. He made him eat his friend. He ate the dude. Come on. How cannibalistic is like this? Then he's fucking Olamolis, so he's messed up now. He lost his wife. His wife is doing the tell-all book. Listen, if you haven't watched Amazon, The Boys, if there's nothing that we talk about in this show that has made you want to go see this show, then you understand this is the nature of what ATS is, because this show has everything that you need. It has humor. It has action, which has gotten better. It has storyline, it has depth, it has characters that they develop over time. It's not stale, it's different. When you think it's going to go right, it goes left. Or if you're vice versa, depending on which way I have you on the camera, if you think they're going to go left, it go right.
If you think it's going to go right, it goes up. It's just like completely in a different direction that you were not prepared for at all.
And it's not like they don't stick the landing, because when A-Train couldn't run again, I was not expecting them to grab Blue Hawk.
I was so prepared for him to I was like, he's dead. That's in the A-Train. And I was like, I understand. He went out. He was like, this is the only way that I can feel like I'm vindicating my brother. I'm avenging him. Right. And they just like, nope, you're not down on our watch. Here, you have Blue Hawk's heart. It's like, and it's a sense of like, do you feel like this is a sense of justice, or do you feel hurt because you're like, I was going out on my own terms and now you gave me this racist heart.
The heart of a racist.
Right. And I was like, it's inside of me. And it was like, and then just immediately, and again, talking about how Ashley kind of transformed into this shitty person. She was like, yeah, and like now you can run again. So you'll get your endorsements back. Now we're working on this movie deal. Talk about the story of A-Train, where this drug addicted teen is taken off the streets. He was like, that's not my story.
We're thinking Tom Hanks.
Right. Tom Hanks is going to coach you. He was like, but that's not my story. And then she was like, but it's going to be, what did she say? Like off the Chisane or some shit like that. Like so condescending. And then for him to go
A-Train to Africa.
right. And then the thing about it is, she was like, we're gonna put you back to your new suit, and all of that stuff that he was like, he changed his suit and he was like, I'm for my people now. He jumped back into his old suit. No ifs, ands, buts about it. He just went straight back to it. And then for him to go back to his
report going to Homelander, so you're gonna do what's necessary.
Right. But so he goes back to his brother, who's now paraplegic. He's in a wheelchair now. He will never walk again. And his brother, who A-Train is thinking he'll welcome him back, and he was like, "Did you kill Blue Hawk?" And he was like, "Nah, you heard that was Soldier Boy who killed Blue Hawk or Nighthawk." And his brother, of course, he knows him. He was like, "You did kill him." He was like, what makes you think that that's what I wanted? I wanted him to see justice. I wanted to see him stand on trial and be called out for what he did, which is, again, so appropriate for what is going on in the real world. It's like, we don't want somebody to be killed just because they committed a crime, or be killed because they're accused of a crime. If, like, we're supposed to, now, you know, I'm not gonna get into it, but
that's how good the show is. It pulls in the narrative of reality.
And then his brother is just like, I don't want a murderer in my house with my kids. And then it's like going back to everything that Ashley told A-Train. And it's like, you think about all of the other stuff that A-Train has done, all of the other people that he has killed, and now your brother's calling you a murderer.
Not to mention you.
Get out of my house. Everything he said, I'm trying to make it better. He's like, no, because every time you try to make it better, all you do is make it worse. He's like, get out of my house.
This is not your mama's Flash. Okay, this is real stakes over here, man.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so
listen.
Good. It's so
this is not even. We're not even talking about half the stuff that goes on into season 3.
It's so much more.
But if you haven't watched it yet, let this be your gateway to something that you may never be the same from watching again. Amazon as a whole, Prime Video, The Boys, from season 1 to season 2. Go watch season 3 and then come back and watch us, because even if you're watching us first and then you watch season 3, then you'll know what we're talking about. Then you can come back and watch again and be like, yeah, they called it. Because we do. We call it. We call it here at All Things Super. We'll let you know.
Before we wrap up, we have to ask the question. So, Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington, season 3 of Amazon Prime's video, The Boys. Is it super?
Is it? My God, yes. Listen. killing it over there. Goddamn Amazon with the boys. They are the Rick and Morty for Adult Swim. They are the Game of Thrones for HBO. They are the everything for Amazon. They're the reason that you probably have an Amazon account outside of the amazing shopping that you can do on Amazon.
Not sponsored by Amazon.
I wish we were sponsored by Amazon. Hey,
we just want to make
Amazon,
that disclaimer.
Some 2-day shipping. What? I'll drink to that. I mean,
2-day shipping is. I think 2-day shipping is free at this point, just for not even for Prime members, just having an Amazon account.
Maybe Bezos is the Homelander because he's gonna get your business. Because he's gonna get mine. Amazon, the boys. I'm ready for season 4. Where can they go? What can they do? And I'm here for it. It is an awesome show. If you're not watching it, I'm not really sure what you're doing with your leisure time, but to each his own. Spider, Amazon Prime Video, The Boys season 3. Is it super?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like even as long as we've been talking about season 3, we could probably spend hours and hours and hours talking about how good this season is, how just everything is just like, I can't believe the places that they've taken this show. And every time you think that you've seen it all, every time you think that you've seen it all, they pull something out.
Hey, Spider, chimps don't cry. Did you know that? Chimps don't cry.
Just like we've talked about, we haven't. There's so many things that we haven't touched on. We haven't even touched on the payback of it all, and the Crimson Countess and all of that.
We haven't dove deep into Huey's and Starlight relationship and how they kind of broke up.
Right.
Or Maeve and her relationship and how they kind of got back together.
There's so much more. It's so much more.
The shitty situation when Maeve said, when I first seen you in the bathroom and you were crying, I'm like, she was just sexually assaulted.
Right.
I think there's a reason to cry. And it's like she was such a difference of opinion at the point in time.
What a very PC way to put it. But I mean,
it's sensitive, man.
But it goes to show like how other shows you get into season 3 and just everything that happened in season 1. It's like they make no reference to it. They act like season 1 never happened. It's like every season is like its own contained world where they're only dealing with these issues as far as season 3 is concerned. But they go back to season 1. It's like, even back then when I saw you your first day in Vought, it's like that. You woke me up, you inspired me, you freed me, you saved me. And it's like, it goes just how everything from that point until now has been building up. Like Annie's like entire story arc, it stems back. She is not the same. Nowhere near that same little small town girl in the big city now, just part of the 7. And so she's a part of the boys. Now she knows that, I tried to fight this from the inside, but apparently corruption runs deep in this corporate world. I can't just think that I can be a woman alone, because everybody that she tried to pull in either turned her back on her or got killed. And it's like,
when are we gonna see Stan Edgar again?
He's got to have something cooking with season 4. He's got it. He's going to be back. I don't know in what capacity that he's going to be back, but he's going to be back. If he's going to try to I don't know if he will be able to reclaim leadership in Vought, because they've essentially, like, not blacklisted him, but they basically like besmirched his name, to where like the public opinion of him is like extremely low, because
we all know public opinion can be swayed.
Right.
We've seen that in many Many generations.
But the
Stormfront did it. Homelander's doing it now. Victoria's doing it.
and
I'm
it's
just
really
basing it off of this.
like the public right now is really like Starlight versus Homelander. It's like you saw like when they were outside of Vault, you had like the red side versus the yellow side, and how it was like really split down the middle where the two crowds were. And I don't know, because now that Starlight's not a part of the Seven, will she still maintain her like her following, her support and everything? Or will that start to kind of go away because with her being a part of the boys, with them still like, because this season showed the boys kind of like going like Newman was sort of giving them assignments like, this is where you can find this superhero. They've been kind of out of line, so bring them in. And so now that Newman's left her position and now is going up on his VP candidacy, I don't know. I don't think that the boys are going to be taking their orders from that agency anymore, because he was not working with them. Starlight's not in the
So
Seven
now
anymore. So are we
we're
back
Rogue
to
again.
we're back to where we were before. We're Rogue, and so we're doing our own thing, trying to figure out a way to take down Homelander. So will Starlight retain that celebrity status, that support from all these people, now that they're kind of like underground and kind of probably going to be back to doing things that really aren't necessarily seen as something that will be what's the word I'm looking for, just kind of
PG.
welcome, not even PG, but just kind of not necessarily welcome in the public eye. Like Starlight can't go out and do the things that Butcher does, because Butcher will do the same thing that Homelander would do. And I think Starlight would lose her fan base if they saw her that being associated with those kind of things. So I don't know how Starlight can continue to fight the good fight as part of the boys because of their methods.
Yeah, she may come to the realization that these guys are no worse than those guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's so exciting to see where they can go in season 4.
We'll have to check
Amazon.
out season 4.
You got one. You got a winner on this one. I am here for it. The boys may live long and prosper. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm saying these guys are winning. What a great story. I mean, how many times have I said that? Like a gazillion. But you're now putting visuals, though it may be a little bit graphic and more than what you were expecting. But underneath all the gore, underneath all the sex, underneath all the themes
The
of
bloodshed,
superheroes,
brutality.
we have great storytelling. And I always say, if you have that, you got something to work with. So
100%.
I'm ready for season 4 already.
But let us know what your take is on season 3 of The Boys. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about the show. Tell us your favorite part. Tell us your favorite scene, your favorite instance, or anything that happened throughout season 3. Was it, A-Train dragging Nighthawk across the pavement?
That's road rash right there. That's road rash.
Extreme road rash. But just let us know what you thought about the show. Let us know what you thought about the season. Leave your comment below. But if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes going out. If you want the audio version, you can find us on most of your major podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to join in the conversation and keep up with us, you can follow us on Twitter at ATSuperPod. It was a wild ride. I am so excited, ready for season 4, but we'll see exactly when it happens.
This is what it is when you do it right. So maybe they can help others do it right.
I don't think so.
Doing it right.
Why help the competition?
Because the world needs love. That's all I got.
But until next time, thank you so much for coming out and supporting us.
I love you guys. I love all of you. I sound like a drunk hillbilly that's been drinking. Let me get my sobriety cup.
Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you all in the next episode.